Hello, everyone. Today we are joined by Andrea, who is an author, speaker, and new thought leader. I am so excited to have Andrea here with us today as she is on a mission to help women reset their money stories by realigning them with the truth of who they really are. So, in this episode, we're going to be exploring the energetics of money, some practical steps to overcome money blocks, and create from a place of abundance from your feminine energy. So this episode is going to be so helpful to so many women in our community, and I'm just so excited to get into this. And Andrea, welcome. We are all ready to feel the abundance. We're ready to welcome the abundance, and we're looking forward to learning from you and your wisdom around this topic. So to begin, I first of all would love to welcome you here, and I'm so excited to have you on the show.
Well, thank you very much for having me. I feel very honored and blessed. Yes, I think that as women, we have a divine birthright. We need to be wealthy. We need to be rich. We have for so long given our power away, not intentionally, but we have given our power away. And if we become wealthy and we become rich, not only monetarily, but in abundance for self-love and the love of our world, our animals, our children, we will shift and begin to shift the what I call kind of the more mentality that we've been kind of brought up into, that more is just we always want more. And it's not more in the sense of in a good way. It's more we need, my neighbor has a new car. I need a new car. My friend has a better job. I need a better job. I'm always chasing, always searching, always trying to find something outside of me that will fulfill me and make me feel better. I don't know that that's what I'm doing because I think that this is just the natural progression of life, right? I look around and I see it on television and in the media. Everybody is always getting something and they're getting it and they're getting this and they're getting this vacation and they're getting the promotion and they're getting a new love and all of these amazing things are happening to them. And what they're really looking for is what those things will bring them, the feeling that that will bring them, right? So I think that the first thing that we have to do when we're talking about money is to recognize that money is not a problem. Money has never been the problem, right? Money is just a tool. It's a tool for it's an energetic tool, really. I use my energy to go to work to buy things that I value. I have electricity. I value electricity. I have somebody that picks up my garbage. I value having my garbage picked up. I value having an internet connection. I value having technology. So we use money in a powerful way. And as women, when we can embrace that, when we can allow ourselves, because really that's what it is. It's a self-worth issue. When we can allow ourselves to embrace money as an energy, as an energetic force in our lives, then we can use it not to get more, but to make an impactful awareness, an impact in our world for the things that we value. I value, for instance, having a healthy planet. If I am more wealthy, I'm going to be able to put my money towards things that I value that way, right? I drive a Tesla because I value electric energy, right? I try to live in alignment with those values. And the more money we have, the more choices we get, and the more impactful we become as women. But we've unfortunately not really been taught that that's okay.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you so much. And you touched on there about self-worth, and I think this is a big one, isn't it? Especially
Mm.
for women. And I can feel how passionate you are about this. So I guess my first question is A, why do you feel so passionate about sharing this with women? And B, why is this is a collective, right? This
Yes.
money issue, like, and across the board, men and women. Everybody always wants more. Like you said, they have this
Always.
mentality. Where does this stem from? And why is it linked to self-worth?
I think we link most challenges in our life to self-worth. I believe that, first of all, I believe that the quality of our lives really depends on the level of consciousness that we live at, right? If we live at a level of lack and limitation, that's what we will experience. But as we start to transcend and we go up the levels, we get into the levels, the higher levels of joy and in love and peace and all of self-fulfillment and things, you know, we we really have to just take a step back from ourselves and ask where, what is our self-worth? How is that defining the life that we're living? And our net worth, when it applies to money, is a direct reflection of our self-worth. If we don't have a high self-worth, our bank account will absolutely reflect that. I know mine did. So why do I feel so passionate about sharing this with women? Because the world isn't, and I'm not making a judgment here, but the masculine energy that has taken over, the spend more, you're never enough, we never have enough, will, is plundering our world. It's creating slave societies, it's creating wars, it is creating holes within each of us, men and women, that we never feel like we have enough, that we can't get enough to fill us, and we never find those higher levels of consciousness. And when we can start defining our self-worth for ourselves, right? Going inside and building that foundation within, and then living and aligning with those higher levels of consciousness, which is really what we're looking for from money, right? Then everything will align. It will all come back. And we are the people that will light the way, those that can hold those higher vibration levels, frequencies on the planet.
Thank you so much. That's so interesting. It's interesting that you talk about how we're in this like masculine energy as well, right? And I'm wondering now, like, is that ego driven then? Is that coming from our ego? Is that coming from wanting more and the masculine way of more, more, more? And and also tying into that this illusion of money. And I wonder if you could speak to that and the value or the illusion of what we put value towards money.
I think that everything in our society is kind of feeds our ego, right?
Mm.
It feeds that you're not enough. If you don't drive this kind of car, you're not enough. If you don't have these clothes on, or you don't carry this kind of phone, or you don't wear these kinds of shoes. We start this at a very young age because there's a lot of money in not enough, right? It's a lot like health, right? You have all of these different things that we fear. If you are experiencing these symptoms, it's the same thing. There's a lot of money in keeping people in lack, because when you don't feel like you're enough, you will always look outside of yourself to fulfill that. We have been indoctrinated as a world, really, to look outside and think that the answer is somewhere over here, that it's outside, that if we just had this one thing, that would be the thing that would give us the feeling that we want. And really, what we don't understand is that we are the ones that have closed ourselves off from the feeling that we want in the pursuit of trying to chase this elusive dream. Yes, that new car might give you a great feeling for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, but it's not the thing that's going to fulfill you. It's the same with a partner, right? When we have that honeymoon phase, we've just met the love of our lives and we're in this honeymoon phase, and how it only lasts for so long because it's what we're not starting from within. We have to start from within. The foundation for all love is self-love. And in the end, even money, right? The highest form of money is love. So we're all trying to chase the same dream, which is the dream of love. But we don't know that. Love, connection, those higher levels. We don't know that that's what we're trying to do. But that's what we're doing. And in the process, we're kind of killing the planet.
Mm. And it's strange, isn't it? Because it's like, okay, if you said to me before we started this call as well, like feel into money, like and having all this money and like already like, look at me, I'm like, oh yeah, like it feels good, let me get in there. I love money and it brings me joy and it gives me happiness, it brings me peace and freedom and all these amazing feelings. So then why do we not speak about it? Why is there so much shame around it? Why is there so much privacy around it? Why is there so much dirty money? Why is it money doesn't grow on trees and oh, if you want money, you're a bad person? You know, all of this narrative that I find so interesting because you can sit around, and I'm just going to keep this in terms of kind of my demographic because this is kind of my expertise, but being around a group of women that can talk about sex, that can talk about the shame, they can talk about trauma, they can talk about these deep seated issues. And as soon as you mention money, everyone clams up. Everyone clams up, they push away. I don't want to talk about it. What is going on there when actually, if we discuss money in this other way, we feel all these amazing, elated feelings?
I think that, I kind of love this question because there's a couple of things that come up for me. And one is that we how first of all how easy it is to shift your perception, right? Just in our brief conversation before, there was kind of this you kind of shut down with the, oh my gosh, I don't have enough, to when you start imagining and envisioning, right, how you can get in alignment with things. I think that it's not encouraged. We have made money a direct reflection of our self-worth. If you don't have it, right, you're looked at as less than. So I think that that's a big thing. We have, as women and men both, we have given our power away, right? Our power, which is internal, it's not something that's external. We've given it away to fear, really. We've given it away to lack and limitation and other people's perceptions of it. Most of our money beliefs weren't ours. They were our parents. They were ancestral. They were from the society that we live in, from the government that we belong to, from whatever we were indoctrinated into. And if there was lack in your life, you came to believe that it was money's fault, right? That there was something wrong with you, that you didn't have this in your life. It's a direct reflection of who you are. And we've allowed that. It's not really a direct reflection of who we are, right? But we've allowed that to happen to us. And as women, we give our power away to many things. I say that, I believe that we come into this physical reality, right? And our goal is, as humans, as people, as women, is to, as we talked about previously, is for the expansion, experience, and expression. These are three things that our soul wants, not that our head wants, but that our soul wants, that our heart wants. And we come to maybe not life lessons, because I don't believe in life lessons, but we do have challenges. And the challenges tend to be in relationships, right? With self and others, with money, right? Because money is, like you said, a really big one, and with health. So those three things we tend to really delve into our own self when we have to stop like we are today and examine why, what is happening within me that I'm not allowing myself to feel elation when I think about money, right? I get a check, if I get a check in the mail and I go, oh look at this, I just got a check, this is so exciting. Or I can go, oh my gosh, this is not enough, this isn't going to cover the bills, right? So I think that we have this beautiful tool, our brain, our perceiving mechanism, right? It perceives things, but it's filtered through all of the things that we've been taught, that we've been indoctrinated into, that these beliefs that were handed to us. And so it's really up to us to go in and ask, is this true for me? Do I really believe that it's hard to get money? Do I really believe that money is something that is a direct reflection of my value? Am I going to feel bad because today I don't have enough money to go buy a new pair of Nike shoes. Am I going to give my power away? Because that's what we're doing. Every time we allow these negative thoughts and concepts, we're giving our power away. And when we're not standing in our power, we'll never make the change. We'll never, like you, be the change you want to see. We'll never be able to be that energetic force in the world. And if we look at money as just an energy, just a tool to get what we value, it's not good, it's not bad. It's a tool, right? No different than your phone. It's no different than anything that you want. It's not who we are. I think that's really, really, really important.
And what advice would you give to somebody that's like, okay, I realize that I'm giving my power away. How do I claim my power back in this area?
Well, you just did the very first step, which is you recognize it. And how do we give our power away? Thoughts, right? Oh my gosh, how many times do we get into a thought loop of, I don't have enough money. I don't have enough. It's Christmas. We're coming up to a holiday season, right? Where many of us celebrate giving gifts. I don't have enough money to buy this for my daughter. I don't have this. I don't have enough money to invest in myself. I really want to go get my fingernails done and I can't afford to. And you start to shut down. That's the first step, is recognizing it. And usually it starts with a thought. Sometimes it starts with a feeling, right? You get on your phone, you're like, oh, I, ooh, and you feel it in your stomach, that tightening, that constriction, and all of a sudden you're kind of leaning forward and you're like, ooh, and it becomes a physical sensation in your body. So awareness is always the first step to any change. Aware of the fact that you are doing this to yourself. Money didn't do that to you, right? It's your perception of it, which your perceiving tool, which is your brain, is perceiving the lack of money in your bank account on your phone. But is it your truth in this moment, right? So you become aware of the thought and you bring yourself into the moment. We bring ourselves into the moment by just simply taking a deep breath and bringing ourselves into our bodies, back to where we belong. And then we ask ourselves, right? Is this true for me? Am I safe right now? Do I have everything that I need right now? What am I giving my power away to? Am I going to give my power away to this thought that I don't have enough? Is that really the truth? Because I'll guarantee that we've always had enough. If we are on this call today, we've had enough. We have enough right now, right where we are. That's the first step, is to recognize, become aware of what's tumbling you down energetically. At that point, you can simply look and go, wow, I'm giving my power away to this advertisement, right? There's that car that I want and I don't feel like I'm worthy. I don't know how I'm going to make that happen, or how am I going to pay my bills this month, or how am I going to pay for college for my daughter? We're giving our power away all the time. And there's going to be days where you take a lot of breaths in that awareness, because when you're first starting down the path of, really, it's emotional conditioning as well as thought conditioning, because you have the thought and then you go, or you go, and then you have the thought, right? Because it's in reaction. You've learned this reaction. It's a pathway in the brain. You have to stop from that moment and breathe. Bring yourself into the now and ask yourself. Conscious awareness is the answer to just about everything.
So what I'm hearing is that instead of just being in the now and seeing where we feel safe and what's coming up for us now, the fear and where we're giving our power away is because of a future moment. We're thinking, what if I can't afford that? What if I can't make rent? What if I can't? But in this moment, if you actually just stop, like 99.9% of the time, you're safe and you're in a good situation. But the giving the power away comes from when we start allowing those thoughts to go down that negative spiral, to create that reaction in the body, to project a future moment. And then by projecting that future moment, we're creating it in our reality.
We sure are. We sure are. So, I think that one of the things that you can do after you've had your breath, and you say, am I giving my power away? Yeah, you are. Most of the time, like 99% of the time, you will be giving your power away. You ask yourself, is this what I want to create? Right? Just like we did. And then what are you going to say? Well, no, I don't want to create that. Well, then how can we realign ourselves with what we want to create? Okay, I know that I want to create a feeling of connection or abundance or happiness, right? I think that maybe having this thing paid for or having more money is going to somehow make me feel more free. How can I, in this moment, feel more free and align myself with that feeling? Well, for me personally, like if I want to feel more free, I could easily think of just closing my eyes for just a moment and I'm swinging on a swing,
Mm.
right? I'm a little girl and I'm swinging on a swing and I am just touching the sky with my toes and it feels so good. And in that moment, I have shifted that thought. That's all I did was shift my perception. Oh, wow, this is terrible. This is happening. Deep breath. What do I want to align myself with? Do I want that? No, I want the feeling of freedom. Okay, I'm going to go swing on my swing. I'm going to get into that feeling, that alignment right now for just a few, as little as, 20, 30 seconds. And you will have shifted that thought. It's no longer there because it is just a thought, right? It's the thoughts that we hold about money that hold us hostage to having it. When we can release having the money, when we can release the having it in our physical hands in this moment, and we can align ourselves with the feeling of it, we're going to create a vacuum and we're going to make ourselves magnetic to it, right? Because all of a sudden, you get what you are, not what you want. When you get in alignment with what you desire, the truth of what you desire, not I want to desire the car, but what the car gives you, right? The feeling of success, the feeling of freedom, the feeling of power. You can align yourself with those things now. You step into that person, you step into that feeling, and you become the feeling of what it is that you're really wanting. It serves several purposes. One, you already have the feeling that you want. You don't have to go get it. And two, it aligns you with it because you get what you are. That's the biggest, probably, fallacy of manifestation, right? We all have this law of attraction. It's true, the law of attraction works, but it's not that our thoughts are magnetic, right? It's I can sit here all day and think I want a Lamborghini. I want a Lamborghini. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to get that Lamborghini. Oh, that Lamborghini. Oh, right? It's never going to come because it's not the Lamborghini that I really want. First of all, it's the feeling of what the Lamborghini is going to give me. And there's so many ways I can get that feeling, right? When I look at the truth of it, and when I start to align myself with that, it starts to come. It starts to be, I am magnetic then to what I want. And that feeling shows up not just in a Lamborghini, which is very, very possible at that point, but it shows up in so many ways. And then it's appreciating using your gratitude for the ways that it shows up. Maybe the feeling of freedom shows up in somebody coming by and picking you up and taking you out to a movie, right? They're like, oh, come on, let's go anyway. Or it shows up in the mail, you've just won 20 bucks, or you're walking through the mall and you get something for free that you just didn't expect, or a compliment. There's so many ways in which it comes, and we think it has to come in this one way. It's opening the channels for the ways in which it comes. And this is where the feminine energy is so beautiful, because the masculine always wants to define what it is. You need to have this. This is it, this one thing. And in the specificness of really forcing that one thing, we cut ourselves off from it. We cut ourselves off from it energetically and in so many ways. So yeah.
So powerful, and I can really resonate with this. And it's actually something I do with the community, even in terms of goal setting in a feminine way. So it's not as specific, because for women, that's our biggest superpower is our feelings. So everything that you're
Yes,
talking when it comes to manifestation is like, yeah, we want to feel it, we can feel that emotion, we can get in the energy of it, and
yes,
that's what allows it to flow. But when we come from here, and I talk from my own personal experience too, when we come from here, for me it feels like I'm closing off my energy channels, and it feels
yes,
like I'm very narrow-minded, and then you get so specific that it becomes almost like I need it, and then you push it away, right? Because you're like, oh, I
yes,
have to get it, I don't know how I'm going to do it. Whereas if you just feel, and we're so good at feeling in the feminine, we allow that to come through, but we're not taught this,
yes.
are we? Like, we're not taught to
No.
manifest in this way, and we're not taught to utilize our biggest skill.
Right, absolutely. And our biggest skill is our power, and our power is us. It's us knowing that we are the creator of our reality. It's us really stepping into that creator mentality. I am enough. I am the creator of my reality. I know my worth. I am worthy. I am divine, right? All suffering ends when you can fully remember who you are. That's the biggest gift you're going to ever give yourself. You are, you are the divine you. You are the beloved. You're all of it. And when you allow your own magnificence to come through, the struggle, the lack, and the limitation, it all ends. But we are the ones that cut ourselves off. There's nothing outside of us that's doing it. We allow things to do it, just like you said, right? When we allow the external to become our driving force and the thing that dictates what we want and how we are and who we are, then of course, yeah, the struggle is going to be there and the suffering is there. But we've chosen this. If we're on this call today, this was one of the avenues in which you chose to realize who you really are, right? Because every time you have a negative thought about something that you can't have, anything that you lack, or any sort of limitation, it's an opportunity for you to come into the realization, that powerful place of, is this true for me? Oh, no, I'm the divine creator. Oh, that's not what I want to create in my life. I want to create something beautiful. Oh, what could I align with in this moment that gives me the feeling of something beautiful? Oh, yeah. I am watching a sunset now. Look how quickly you can shift that. And that beach is, oh, expansive and beautiful. And I can feel the ocean coming up between my toes, up my legs. It's fabulous. And the water's warm and the sun is just magnificent. And all of a sudden, you're in alignment with who you are, right? You're not allowing those external forces that always press on us and try to define us to be who you are. We have to remember who we are in every moment with every negative thought, and every single time it's an opportunity. And money is a glorious opportunity. That's what we just have to see it as. It's a glorious opportunity for us to recognize our truth and our power, that this is who we are. And when we can start aligning with that power, we're going to be unstoppable. There is nothing that we cannot do. There's nothing that we can't bring in. We are limitless. We are the only ones that can limit ourselves. Yeah.
Wow, I love that. I love that. So, so powerful. And I think it's really interesting, isn't it, when we explore this in terms of manifestation and we talk of law of attraction, because I
Mhm.
think it's so easy to kind of poo-poo this information and be like, oh yeah, energy and spirituality and this. But where's the tangible, actual, practical thing? But you said something really interesting, and it reminded me of something that I heard that really like clicked for me. And you were talking about this feeling. Either it's a thought and then a feeling, or a feeling and then a thought, and how it's connected. And it might be that you open up your bank account and you feel that feeling and you have that thought. And something that really helped me actually put this into the real, into the science, into this is actually what's happening. It's like, imagine we're on a call right now and we're just talking, everything's fine, like we feel good, everything's good. And then I check my phone and I get a message and it's bad news. And instantly, nothing in my physical reality has changed. But all of a sudden I feel sick. I don't want to be here anymore. My body is gone cold. I've got goosebumps. It's just a
Oh,
thought. It's or even like when you say a compliment to somebody and their eyes well up. It's a scientific reaction. We're not
yeah,
saying to ourselves, body goosebumps, body feel sick, body, and it's like
right.
this is biological. This is scientifically proven. So what I love about this is now that when it comes to law of attraction, when it comes to manifestation, when it comes to this feeling and energy that you're talking about, it becomes much less woo woo. It becomes much less, oh, out there, spiritual, up in the air, cloud, airy, fairy. It becomes, no, this
Right.
is this is a knowingness, it's truth. And just because it's not scientifically explained doesn't mean that it's not true. And we know that because of all these other experiences that we all experience and can't explain.
Well, I do honestly think that our bodies, right? One of the things that shifted for me years ago was the idea that your body is your subconscious mind,
Mm.
which I think is really powerful because we can learn through nervous system regulation to alter our body's response, right? So in the moment that you get the message that you have bad news, you can immediately, if you have trained yourself to, obviously, you can go into regulating your nervous system. When you can calm your own nervous system, you can harness the power of your life. I really believe that because that is probably one of the biggest things. And you know, because that physical reaction triggers those brain chemicals, and those brain chemicals trigger that fight or flight. But we can learn to shift that within our bodies. And when we shift that within our bodies, right, then we automatically alter the thoughts around it. And we come at it from a place of, okay, I can handle this. I can do this. Whatever the news is, I know I can do this. But nervous system regulation is huge. And in that moment, right? How do we do that? What is the number one tool that we all carry with us all the time for nervous system regulation? It's our breath, right? Our breath. So if when you get the text or when you open up your bank statement, right? Or when you are standing there feeling that contraction in your body, open to the breath. That is the number one, bring yourself back. The vagus nerve regulation, we do that through our breath. We do that through our bodies. And it's a beautiful thing because then all of a sudden, we are in ourselves. We are whole again.
Like
And
reminding ourselves that we're safe.
yeah, because there's never a time where we're really not safe. I mean, yeah, if somebody's chasing you down the road with a knife, sure, you're not safe. But how often has that happened to us or somebody we even know? I mean, it happens on TV, right? But yeah, I mean, we're kind of trained into fear all the time. And we're
Mm.
trained to have these reactions, it is part of our biological history, to to be wired for, oh my gosh, we're going to have to do something. But if we can come at it from a place of calm, whatever we do is going to be perfect. And we're not going to be doing it like crazy people. We're not going to be like, oh my God, what are we going to do? We're not having a huge reaction. I think it's just so powerful. Yeah. Bring ourselves right back to the breath, to the breath, to the breath, to the breath all the time.
And it's so easy to activate this fear, right? You see it immediately, like you just said, you see it on TV, you see it on media, you see it in broadcasts, you see
Yeah.
it on social media. It's constant fear, fear, fear. So the brain is like ready for it. And like
Yeah.
you say, it's biological within us, but it's totally irrational because it was there for us to run away
Mhm.
from saber-tooth tigers, not to feel that feeling when we look at our bank account, but because that part of our brain is so activated through what we listen to, what we watch, what we consume, who we interact with. It's like it's just a constant flashlight for us. So we're in this constant
Yeah.
feeling of fear.
All the time, all the time. I think one of the most powerful things that I became aware of through the course of my own evolution is that going back to the idea that you get what you are, right? And our world, the world that we see around us, that we have, the physical reality, the people that we meet, these are all there to reflect back to us our internal state. I dated a man for years who lived with the news on, and he was always in a reaction. He was always in a reaction to something that he was observing on the television. But that was also his internal state,
Mm,
right? When we can start to understand that our internal state is the most important thing. We can call it a frequency, we can call it a vibration, we can call it nervous system regulation, we can call it, whatever asana, whatever you want to call it. If we can really get to the point that we understand that that internal state determines our life experience, it goes back to our levels of consciousness, right? Because if we're in a reactive place, we're in those lower levels of consciousness, no matter what. I mean, and that is a direct reflection of the quality of your life. It's amazing when you live at higher levels of consciousness, that can be on television, but you don't hear it. You don't pay attention to it. It doesn't even come into your world. You can walk through the same mall, like we would walk side by side, and he would see people yelling at each other or having a disagreement or somebody stealing. And I would be over here looking at people and I would be like, oh, I love her shoes. Oh, I love that outfit. Oh, I would really like to go into that store because I love the lights in there. That's all I would see. And he's over here having this reaction. Oh my gosh, can you believe that's happening? And this is terrible. And look at all these things. You know, different methods of perceiving. We have this perceiving mechanism. That's all it is. And it filters through all the things that we've picked up. If we can just recognize it and go like, oh yeah, that's my perceiving mechanism. I get it.
mm,
Okay, but that's not who I am. Who I am is not somebody that walks through this life afraid of everything that happens, right? Who
mm,
I am is at my core. Who am I? I am love, right? I am just a force of love that walks through the earth. And that's what I get reflected back to me. Very seldom do I have things that are unwanted or unwelcome come into my world, And I think that when you see that love is the force behind everything, money included, right? All of a sudden it takes all the scariness away, because we're only trying to get money to get those feelings, the feelings of love, the feelings of connection, the feeling of freedom, the feeling of joy. All of those things are all feelings of love and of higher consciousness.
mm. Yeah, absolutely. Wow, thank you. And when you think in terms of, say somebody's really struggling with their money mindset right now and they're listening to you and they're like, okay, this is great. Like I can feel what you're saying, but like, how do I shift that? Like, how do I improve my financial situation? What would be like some practical things that they can do or things to consider in order to shift where they're at in terms of their money mindset or their financial situation?
Well, I think there's some very practical things that you can do. I mean, I know we're coming up on the first of the year, right? So we're all going to be doing what? We're going to set goals. I'm not a big goal setter. I'm not somebody that typically does that, but I know that a lot of the people that I talk to are like, oh, I've got these goals, right? I'm going to do this amount of money. I want to shift my money. I would say that, we look at our timeline out a year. We always think we can do more in a year than what's usually possible. But when we look at our 10-year timeline, we way underestimate what's possible for ourselves. So I think that letting go of the timeline, I have to have X amount of money by this time. It's kind of like what we were talking about earlier, pinching ourselves off, right? We pinch ourselves off when we give a deadline or we go down the path of how do I create this? How is this going to happen? Right? There has to be a certain amount of trust, release in order to get creativity to come, inspiration to come. Inspiration doesn't come when you're sitting there like this, terrified or worried about how it's going to come, how it's going to work, how it's going to. And then I think that the next biggest thing that you could possibly do is ask yourself, who do I need to become, right? in order to bring money to me. Okay. Who do I need to become in order to bring money to me? I would say that this is true of anything that you desire. Go find that person. Maybe it's, for years, for me, it was Oprah Winfrey. I looked at Oprah Winfrey and I'm like, here's a person that had absolutely nothing and now she's living at the top of her game. I want to be Oprah Winfrey. And I thought, well, all right, well, what qualities does she have? Wow, she has a lot of really beautiful qualities, right? She has the quality of persistence. She never gave up. She never gave up. She has confidence because she persisted and she succeeded. She was successful because of the qualities that she had, right? The qualities of curiosity, the qualities of, I'm going to do it no matter what anybody else says. And even if I fail, I'm not going to let that define me. She had the quality of, you know, um, just because I have these external limitations, I'm not going to let those stop me. She had all of these beautiful things. And so I wrote them down. I can be this person. I can be a person who never gives up. I can be a person who goes fearlessly into the world. She had a lot more limitations than I do. I was born this, pretty little white blonde girl in mid-America, and she was born somewhere that wasn't a thing for her to be even the thought of her succeeding to be the amazing influencer, multimillionaire priestess queen that she is. Like, she had so many things to overcome. Do I? No, but I can certainly use the clues that she left. I can look at her qualities and go, oh, what do I need to do to step into that quality? And then I start doing that every day. Every day, I look at that list of qualities and I go, okay, I can be more fearless. I can do something today, 1%, right? If I do something today that brings me more of this, more of that, and then you start only surrounding yourself with these people that you've defined. They're all over the internet. The beautiful thing about YouTube and Facebook is you choose what you watch, right? Turn off the television. There is never a moment in my life where I am not either working on self-improvement or having something being fed to me that helps me to rewrite the negative processes in my brain all the time. All the time. I've always got my headphones on. I'm walking through the grocery store. I'm hearing, you are wealthy, you are beautiful, you are successful, you are loved, you are connected, all the time. There's never a chance where my brain can go, wow, you don't have enough money to buy those shoes. There's never a time where that even can come in. So start becoming define that person. Take the steps. Those are active steps, right? And let go of how it's going to happen. Let go of the how. Just start doing what you can do today to shift the mindset. Once you shift that mindset, you shift who you are as a person, you're going to have opportunities open. You're going to feel inspiration, right? Because now you're going to be listening to higher self and not the lower self. You're going to be listening to that part of you that's like, oh yeah, you can do this. Just look at that. What if you cleaned out your closet and you put all of those shoes that you haven't worn or those dresses you worn and there's money everywhere, but we just fail to see it, you know? Listen to the inspiration, listen to the guidance, don't listen to the fear. So that would be my number one things. And when you feel those fears come, don't honor them. Don't follow those fears. Take your deep breath. Bring yourself back into the moment. Are you safe? Is this your truth? Is this what you want? Would Oprah Winfrey be going, oh my God, I don't know if I can pay this bill? No, she would not. What would she do? She'd be like, money is an energetic tool, right? It comes and it goes. This time it's going to go, but I know more is coming because she has faith and confidence in herself that she can build that build that self concept every day. That's how we're going to shift.
Amen. I love it. I love it. And I really love that you talk about inspiration because, like, in spirit, right? In spirit, that's where
Yes.
you get it. When you're in spirit, when you're in the higher self, and that's when it comes information, but it starts in spirit. So you start with your higher self. You start with that place within you that you know is true, that you know is real. You start in spirit. You start being
Yes.
inspired. You start getting that inspiration in spirit, and then that's when it materializes and comes in form. But it has to start from the
Yes.
spirit.
It does. And the other thing, I think that the thing that we've really missed as far as manifestation goes is we think that it's something that, and this kind of goes back to getting the feeling first, right? We think that manifestation always has to occur in the physical form for us to experience it, right? But manifestation has to move through us. It has to move through us. And it does that just as you've manifested no money in your bank account, because you have manifested that. I'll guarantee if you don't have money in your bank account, is because you've manifested it. You've brought it into your world with your thoughts, with your thoughts that led to your feelings of lack, limitation, scarcity. How can I? Probably touching on worthlessness, because we all do this. I'm not pointing you out or anybody else, right? I do the same thing. I've manifested the place that I'm at. Now we want to create something different. I want to create wealth in my life, right? How am I going to do that? How am I going to do that? Is it let it move through you? But when we're always trying to figure out how it's going to happen and how it's going to come and how it's going to work, it doesn't happen. It comes through us. Manifestation is something that comes through us, and it comes through us from our own selves. There's nothing external.
That reminds me of a quote that I think as well really connects to this. Like I'll believe it when I see it, but
Yes,
actually you should
see
see
it.
it and then you'll believe it. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes,
So it's like, yeah,
yes,
you'll once you believe it, then you'll see it. Not you'll see it, then you'll believe it. So
exactly.
yeah, yeah, I'll believe it when I see it. No, actually you should see it and then believe it. Because it's like you're already feeling this feeling, you're already believing in it. When you believe it, you'll see it. And I think
Well,
that
yes, exactly. It's the same thing with who do I need to become? Who do I need to become in order to be this wealthy version of myself? Because that's really the question, right? You don't get money and then become that person. We see how that doesn't work. We see all of these lottery winners that win all these massive amounts of money. They don't suddenly become like Oprah Winfrey. No, they end up losing all their money because they really didn't have all of the foundation in place. But if you can put that foundation in place and become the person first, the money's going to come. The inspiration to get the money, to what you need to do, is going to come. And it's not going to come all at once. And it's not going to come in one big check. I think that's the big thing about manifestation. We think, oh, yeah, I'm going to get that lottery win. I'm going to get this big check. But no, it's all the little things that happen along the way. It's the person that buys you the cup of coffee, because that's money coming in. It's the coupon that you use for 50% off for that amazing vacation, right? It's all of these little ways that money comes, and we start to see this. These are all steps towards becoming this wealthy version. And then when the money starts to flow, it has a beautiful place to land and flow out, because you're not going to get it and go, I'm going to hoard it. I'm going to keep it and I'm never going to let you go. And right. Right. Or we're not going to then go, oh, yay, I got this money. I'm going to go spend it everywhere, because we won't need to, because we've had the feeling of it all along. We created a beautiful place for it to land, for it to come to. Who you are is what you will experience in your life. So our greatest thing that we can do for money or relationships or health is to realize who we really are. And who we are not these limited people that we've been told that we are, that we've been taught to believe that we are. We're so much more, so
mm.
much more.
Mm,
Yeah,
thank you so much. In a moment, I'm going to open it up to questions from anyone who's already on the call. If Kaz or Taya, you have any questions, feel free to write them in the chat and I'll come to you in a second. In the meantime, I do have another question, because you just touched on it. And when you said about, I don't want to call you out right now, but this kind of victimism, right? This kind of like, you created what you created. Can you speak a little
yeah,
bit more towards that? And how can
sure.
we see if we're in a victim mindset?
I think that when you start to understand, it goes beyond responsibility, right? It goes into the part that, we create everything that we live. And we do that in order for I know it sounds crazy, but for our soul to expand so that we can come into the highest version of who we are. If everything were given to us and we lived this, glorious life of absolutely everything was handed to you, you would never evolve. It's through these challenges that we face that we evolve. So instead of seeing life as happening to us, right? Oh my gosh, I just lost my job. I can't believe that happened to me. We could take a step back and again, take that breath, ask ourselves, is that the truth? Did that really happen to me? Or was there something along the way that I was thinking, God, I really hate this job. I
Mm,
really don't like the people I work with. On some level, you manifested that, you brought that into your reality, accept it, and realize that you were the one that created it. It happened for you because your soul wanted something more, right? If your partner walks out the door tomorrow, it didn't happen to you, it happened for you, for your evolution, so that you could realize a greater version of yourself, and so that he could too. If we understand and take the standpoint that everything that happens for our greatest good and the greatest good of those around us, even when it hurts, even when it sucks, even when our bank account is empty or the lover walks out the door, if we can just accept that that's happening for us, we lose victimization, right?
mm,
We choose suffering.
mm,
We are the only ones that choose suffering.
mm. So beautiful. Yeah, we choose it. And I'm just seeing that Kaz has said the same here, that the biggest message that she got is that it's a choice and not to succumb to the fear. So everything
Yes,
is a choice. And when everything's a choice, it's so much more empowering, right? Because you're like, okay, I look at my
yes,
situation, I see what I've created, what I've created. That means the only person that can change it is me. So if
right.
that means it's just on me. I don't have to go to anyone else. I don't have to hire anyone. I don't have to learn anything new. All I need to do is work on me. And
Yep,
I can do that because I got myself in this. That means I can get myself out of it again. And
yep.
that's empowering. That's liberating.
It is. It is absolutely liberating. And then it's happening for you. It's giving you an opportunity to create something new for yourself, right? The lover walks out the door. Wow, look at that. I've got a chance. Okay, you might not be that happy about it, but I've got a chance to create something better, right? My bank account's at zero. Where am I going to go? I'm going to create something new, something amazing. I'm going to find ways because I'm going to let inspiration flow through me. I'm not going to shut it off. I'm not going to stay locked in my house. I'm going to go explore. I could be walking into the most amazing opportunity ever. I don't even know, but we have to find excitement about it, enthusiasm instead of fear. It's the fear that shuts us off from everything that we want.
Hmm. And if you would be open to it, would you mind sharing a personal example of where you've experienced this in yourself, that a negative situation, or a perceived negative situation or a challenging situation where you've been able to actually then reframe it in a way of like, I created this and what you learned from it?
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, I create everything. So it's really easy for me to find places. Let's see if I can find something around money. Yes. Okay. So, um, I really didn't have a good relationship with money for a long time. So I think that for me, in order to shift, I had money and relationships were very tied together for me.
Mm,
So I didn't even know that I could bring in my own money. I didn't know that I had the power to create my own money. Like I had always been a partner with somebody and I always helped create his money and his dream. And I always worked for somebody. And, you know, I think that I never looked at things as, okay, here's a great example. Yesterday, I invested in a mentor in the business that I'm in, I felt like I'd kind of hit a ceiling and I needed a mentor. So I invested. I didn't spend money, I invested in myself. But there was a lot of things that came up around that. Oh, do I have the money to do that? Should I do that? There's mom guilt, right? Because I've got kids. Oh, what if my kids, is this going to cut them off? No, I had to bring myself back. I had to go back to that, maybe that 1 year vision down the road. Right now, it feels like a big chunk of money. But a year from now, if when I have adopted all of the things that I know that I need to, right? Because I was inspired to do this, I was inspired to hook up with this person. Um, I know that that money is going to flow. Money is just a flow. But I had to sit here and breathe. I was like, okay, I'm going to anchor myself in myself. I'm going to see that this is just a thought that I have. That's all it is. I'm going to release it to the light, right? Which is what we do. We release it to the light. And then what do I really want? Oh God, I can't wait. And I'm going shopping last night. I went to bed going shopping on all the things that I wanted. Oh, there's a vacation. Oh God, what's it going to feel like when I get to hop on that plane? Oh, I can't wait. I'm going to be so excited. Oh my gosh. And by the time I went to bed last night, I was like, I'm so freaking rich. It was wonderful. I'm just going to say it was wonderful. Uh,
Oh my God, I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. That's so beautiful. And I love how you were able to turn it around in just such a short space of time as well, right? To just being like,
yeah,
yes, I'm abundant, I'm rich, and this is
you
incredible.
can shift it so fast. Just like your example, right? You're sitting there
Mhm.
talking to a friend and you get a text and it's bad news. Your perception of reality shifts that fast. But the only way we're ever encouraged to shift it is into that negative place. But we can train ourselves, right? To shift right back into the positive. Oh, that's not really, oh, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. But we have to be aware. We have to have that self awareness that we're even doing it because those patterns become so familiar and so easy. Yeah, so easy. So, anyway, yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And Taya, I think you had a question. Would you like to unmute yourself?
Yes, thank you so much, guys. This has been really helpful. And I'm just realizing the extent to which my own thoughts are limiting my circumstances around money. And I'm wanting to ask something because I've personally been struggling with this a lot, and I don't know how to move forward from it. I've fallen into the category, I think, of helplessness and victim mentality because I have wanted to see my world through lenses other than white woman, Western civilization based. And so I just recently came back from Jamaica. I was really, really ill. I was living in conditions with like no clean water. There was no protection from mosquitoes. Healthcare was awful. And I had really put
Mm.
myself in the position of like what those people were experiencing. And I would wake up in the morning hopeless with depression, like symptoms, just because it felt like so stuck. Like there was no opportunity in the community to make money. It felt like a hopeless situation. And so while all of this is really helpful for me, um, I'm sitting with like the implications of this isn't really an option for the people and the places I visited. And then I'm overcome with this guilt. Like, and I'm unable to move past it. Like, okay, I can sit here manifesting my like dream lifestyle away and I can work at it. And, if all goes to shit, let's say, because life sometimes happens, I can run home and cry and be like, okay, well, let me take a month to reset my nervous system and try again. Whereas, like if people don't make it, sometimes they're just like families are on the line, it's homelessness. And I'm just like really wondering how do I work with the immense amount of guilt? Because I am limiting myself by putting myself in a position I'm not, helplessness.
Mhm. Well, I would ask you that, you've obviously put yourself in that position to become aware of something within you, right? That you need to see. And I would say that, are you helping these people by feeling guilt? Are you helping them by staying in lack and limitation,
Mm-mm.
right? Would there be a time, could you see that if you were to shift your perception and think of it as, I have to be able to be, if the more successful I am, first of all, the more impactful I can be,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because you're going to be able to, if you are successful, you might be living your dream life, but just from what you've told me, you're somebody who has a feeling of social responsibility. If you are rich, are you writing checks to help people? Are you able to, if you're not working 9 to 5, right? If you have manifested abundance in your monetary world, are you able to go and help them on a plane that they need help, right? Helping them get education, helping them get water, being able to put your own resources, which are the most valuable thing that you have, to work. Guilt never gets us anywhere. That's way at the other end of the spectrum, right? I have a lot of guilt as well. I had to work through guilt, but you're not helping anybody through that. And I think that by focusing so much attention on the lack that they're experiencing, right, it just becomes a self-perpetuating prophecy.
Mm.
What can we do? What can you do with the resources you have right now to make a difference in your life that will also make a difference in their life, right?
Mm. So
It's
do
not a selfish, I think this is what I'm hearing is that you feel selfish. Yes?
yeah, that's the core wound here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So somewhere along the line, you've been told or you've allowed yourself to believe that, you're not really worth it's a self-worth issue, right? You don't really deserve it when other people are suffering. And that's a
Absolutely.
very common because as women, we are often taught that. I mean, we always give to others and we give freely and we often don't get anything in return for it.
Do you ever feel like the sense of responsibility for other people's mindset? Like if you've got this freedom around money, like mentality wise, and you've got resources to recognize that you are not your thoughts, but you see family members and loved ones suffering with like these self-deprecating, I'm not enough and status oriented thoughts about themselves, like, and you see that you're not in a place to shift that, do you feel guilt for wanting to remove yourself from those circumstances if you feel like helpless in shifting their perspective so it doesn't bring you down?
I think guilt is something that we allow ourselves to feel, right? And I think that the thing that we have to remember is that we're not serving anybody if we stay on that level.
Mm-hmm.
By staying at that level of lack and limitation and scarcity, we're not helping those people. By really focusing on your own abundance, your own self-worth, what you bring to this world, the resources that you have, you are naturally making a way for those people. Those people are also on their own path, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can't, I have horses, and the old saying that you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink is very true. You can only affect you. And if you are feeling guilt, that guilt is something that you're allowing yourself to feel. You're not allowing yourself to be the creator, to find your divine truth. I'm going to have to plug in my computer, ladies. I just got a terrible message. Hold on. Hold on for just 1 second. I got to go find my charger. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Wow, that's been incredibly useful. Like,
Yeah, is this helpful to you?
very much so, because guilt is plaguing every corner of my life, just in terms of coming back to reality, coming home and seeing how everyone else's mentality is. I'm like, ah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It is. It's a difficult one. It's one that I had to work through as well. And it's almost like just because they're in the hole, does it mean you have to be in the hole and be there with them in the hole? Or would it actually be more advantageous for you to get out of the hole, go and get a rope and help them out of the hole? You
Right.
know?
But also, you've
And
been Interesting. Like you were in Bali, you had your own space, and now you're back with family. And yeah, it it's hard because not only are you like with constant move, there's a constant change of environment, right? And yeah, that
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Is there anything else that you'd like clarity on, Taya, or any other questions you
No,
have for Andrea?
that, that's been extremely helpful. Just the everything that she shared, and yeah, thank you.
Thank you. I hope that helps. I mean, I think guilt is probably the one thing that is the most destructive for women
Mhm.
because we really embrace the feeling of guilt and we are encouraged to feel guilty. And we pass that down to our children, right? I know I did. Oh, you're not going to eat your meal? You must not like your mom, right? I mean, just in the smallest of ways, guilt is so encouraged. And it's one of those emotions that nobody can make you feel anything. You are the only person that can allow those feelings to be manifest in your life. But that's a hard one because it kind of comes with the territory, where we were talking earlier with, something happens and we immediately have that feeling. You immediately have feelings around certain activities or certain things or certain people, right? That in your life will automatically make you feel guilty. So recognizing guilt and then the feeling underneath of it,
Mm.
and then knowing that you have the ability to transcend that feeling. I think that's your power. You can transcend any negative feeling, but you have to recognize what it is. You have to ask yourself if it's your truth, and then you have to be willing to let it go. There's nothing you have to do. There's no special sauce. There's no, oh my gosh, I got to go to a therapist because I've got all this guilt. No, just recognizing it, allowing it to leave because it's not who you are. You want love for those people. You want abundance for those people. You want prosperity. You want those things for those people because you want them for yourself. You want to recognize it in the world around you. And when you recognize it for yourself, you will begin to manifest it for everyone that you come in contact with. Right? Does that make sense?
Mhm.
You
Hmm.
be the change you want to see in the world. You, when you're in scarcity and when you're in lack and guilt and limitation, that's what you're manifesting in the world around you, not just within yourself. But when you can overcome those feelings by simply allowing them to leave, right, then you can become those things: prosperity, abundance, just even bringing those, thinking about your experience in Jamaica, ease, well-being, community, right? Those are things that we want for those people. Those are things that we want for ourselves. The things that you most want to manifest in the world around you is what you most want to manifest for
Mm.
yourself.
Mm. Yeah, so true. So, so true. Was there anything else, Taya, that you wanted to ask before we close?
I think the last thing would be just, would you consider agency as like a good counteracting part to guilt? Like instead of thinking, oh, I'm bad, like whether it's for you as a mom, I'm not showing up, or a,
Mhm.
in just in terms of, oh, I should be doing more, like instead of sitting in that place, seeing like, how can I change this? So I guess that's kind of what you're reflecting back. It's like, how do you get in a place of power to
Right. You want to be able to bring yourself back because really the only place you can affect any change, right, is in this moment, right now. Stepping back into your moment with your breath, releasing the negative thought through your own conscious thinking. Oh, is this my truth? Is this real? Or is this a thought that I'm having? Who is this serving? Is it serving me? No, if it's not serving me, it's not serving anybody. Is it serving those people that you feel this way? No. What would serve your highest good? What would serve you in this moment to realign with what you want for those people? It's what you want for yourself. Realign with peace,
Mm.
right? The instant manifestation of acceptance is peace. Accept where you are, find peace.
Thank you so much. That was, again, just every word you say resonates so deeply with what I'm needing to hear. Thank you.
Good. I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for that. I would love to take you guys, one of my all-time favorite, and I do this, it's a real short breathing exercise, but it's a way to anchor the energy, right? Because what we all really want, money is energy. The world around us is energy. Everything has this frequency or vibration, right? And when we're feeling out of control, when we're feeling guilt, when we're feeling less than, we can anchor ourselves through our own energy and come back into our power. And it's a very simple, very, very simple thing that we do. Okay. You guys want to try it with me?
Yes, please.
All
Absolutely.
right. So again, we're going to use our breath. We're going to take a nice deep breath in, and we're going to breathe that breath in through our belly and up into our heart. And we're just going to feel that air come in, and then we're just going to let it go. Just let that breath go. We're going to take in another nice deep breath. We're going to bring that in through our belly. We're going to let that come up into our heart. And then we're just going to let that breath go. This time, when you take your deep breath in, I want you to raise your head like you're looking at the sun. And I want you to roll your eyes up. I want you to see that sunshine. So take a deep breath in. I want you to roll your eyes up behind your eyelids. I want you to look at that sun. And as you release that breath, I want you to just drop your head back into that neutral position. You're drawing that energy of the sun, which is just your energy, back down into your heart. And I want you to take a deep breath in and lift that head back. Now lift it up to the sky. See the sky. See the light. Feel the light. Let it come in through your head. And as you exhale, dropping that head back into that neutral position, anchoring the light and the energy within your body. And again, one more time, last time, nice deep breath in, lifting the head up. And as you lift, you're opening everything, letting that light just come in, anchoring as you return with the breath back into exhale, back into that beautiful space. The light is now within you, where it always has been. This is you. This is your power. This is your powerful place. It's from this place that you will make changes for yourself, in this world, for your children, and for those to come. We can only ever change anything in the now moment. Returning to your breath, anchoring your power, can bypass any fear. It can bypass any untruth. Just always remember to bring yourself back into the now moment when you're having those thoughts, when you're feeling unsafe. Bring yourself back with your breath and anchor yourself in your own power. Don't give it away to those thoughts. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Andrea. Wow, I can't tell you how grateful I am, first of all, to know you and to be in the presence of your energy. I know we've known each other for quite some time now, and I feel like, yeah, we have some beautiful synergy. You're such a ray of light.
Yeah.
You're such a ray of wisdom, and it's so, so powerful, this work that you're doing and sharing with the world. And I feel it's very aligned. Our missions are very aligned, and I know how much value this is going to really add to the community, how much it's added to me and the people on this call today. So I want to thank you for sharing your energy, sharing your love, and sharing your light. It really means a
Thank
lot.
you for having me, and I honor all of you for making yourself a priority. That's huge, huge, huge. It's the first step to transformation, right? Is recognizing
Mm.
that you are a priority. Self-love is your foundation for everything that you want to create in this world, whether it's wealth or a relationship or health, it doesn't matter. It all starts inside. Nothing is external. You
Mm.
create it all, and you're magnificent creators. You're magnificent. Look at this. We called each other into this group. That's pretty powerful.
So powerful. It's again, it echoes the power of when we come together, right? And we come together under the
Yes.
same mission. And how do people get in contact with you if they want to learn more from you, want to work with you, and kind of, yeah, have some more of this beautiful money magic?
You're free to follow me on Facebook. I'm a writer, so I write. I get downloads, kind of downloads from the universe, couple, and I try to share those. I just share them. You know, you can find me on Facebook under my name. Yeah, just I'm right there if you ever need anything. Really, I'm just right here.
Mm. Thank you so much. And I will share your links in our community as well so
Absolutely.
people can find you easily. And I feel like, yeah, I feel like you're going to be a bit more in this space. If you'd be open to it,
I
I'd love
look
to bring you
forward
on.
to it.
I think there's
I
a
look
lot we
forward
can
to it
learn, a lot we
because
can learn from you.
I think you'll resonate with this. What we share, as what I was sharing with your friend here, is that what we share with others is what we most need to realize within ourselves, right? So, me sharing my money journey and how to overcome these things, this is something I'm creating in my own world, right?
Mm.
I'm creating this because I want to recognize it in myself and in my world.
Mm.
So, yes, thank you all for giving me your time and attention. That's the most valuable thing on the planet. Your time, your attention, and your energy. Thank you so much. I'm honored.
Thank you so much, Andrea. Thank you. And
Thank
thank you,
you. Thank
Taya. Thank
you.
you,
Thank
Kev, for
you
joining us.
all.
Have a
I love
beautiful
you
week.
all. Thank
I
you so
love you.
much.
Take care.
Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye bye.